What's up, my fellow scruffy looking nerf herders, and welcome to the Carbonite Chat. Today, we're going to be talking about Reylo, and it's time for it to die. Let's just move past it. Everyone got to have their little joy and pleasure, playing this out on Tumblr like it was a, thing that was going to happen. For a moment, it even intrigued me with some ideas that could come about from it, but it's done. Can we admit it? Looking at chapters 34 and part of chapters 35 of The Last Jedi novel, it closes it off. If it didn't close it off enough earlier when Rey refused to join Kylo. Kylo asked her to join. There's no reason for her not to join. She has no connection to the Resistance, really. She had a really good friendship with Finn, and they got along really well. But then the movie tries desperately hard to make it like they've built this connection between Kylo and Rey. But in the end, she ended up turning them down. So where is there to go from there? There isn't anywhere to go from there. And so the fact that she turned him down there, and now we go on to the chapter 34 and chapter 35. And it's where Luke and Kylo begin to have their kind of fight. And Luke sees that Kylo has, and I will be covering these chapters partially, kind of putting these two chapters into two pieces for those of you who watch and are me following along. I'm breaking 34 and 35 into two pieces for just, I think, topic-wise, it'll be a bit easier to break down. So this one's following over Kylo and Luke, and then also Kylo and Rey. And so Kylo and Luke sees Kylo come out, and he talks about how he's just, rage is just kind of emanating off of him. And he's like radiant with power, I believe is how they say it. And that it's not just his rage, but that rage is causing all this emotion to make him very powerful, as a dark side user tends to call on their power. And he says it's like polluting the force around him. And then it says that, but even more, even stronger than the rage is pain and fear. And that he's still the same broken boy that Luke always, kind of worried about and tried to save. And he realized that trying to save him was just a dumb idea to begin with, that he couldn't save him. And so in a sense, it's kind of taking the blame off of Luke for what happened, I guess. But then, so they begin to kind of have that discussion. And it's where he tells Luke that he's going to destroy everything, that he's going to destroy the, Resistance. He's going to destroy The Last Jedi. And Luke has that moment where, Rian Johnson just thought he was a brilliant writer by repeating back from earlier what he said to Rey. And Luke goes, amazing. Everything you said there was absolutely wrong. Now, then Kylo goes on and says, oh, you mean Rey, the chosen one that you've always really wanted. And Luke says that he could sell that, the way that Kylo was saying Rey's name was, it was like poison to him. And that he says that he will destroy her because she chose the old way, and it's time for the old way to die. So now we have Kylo talking about destroying Rey, wanting to kill her, finish her. She's done. She didn't pick him. She didn't choose him. He's past it. So then we move forward. Of course, there's not much that goes on in that battle. It's not a real battle. It's a, projection of someone fighting someone that's real. And so, not much going on there. I will discuss Luke's death in the next video tomorrow, because I want to kind of close up the book and discuss Luke's death along with a few other things. So I am going to skip over that for now and close up the rest of the book. The one little thing that I will touch on, actually I'll touch on after I finish the kind of Reylo conversation, is then of course Kylo, after this, after Luke disappears, Kylo goes in and he finds the dice, which is just, Luke's already died and gone off to be joined in with the Force, but yet he's held up the projection of the dice for a little bit longer. Okay, and so then he calls out to Rey, and him and Rey make eye contact, and they're looking at each other, and they're having that force bond. And he kind of calls her, but he sees that in her eyes that she no longer hates him, that she doesn't have the hate that she had there before. But he also realizes that she no longer has any compassion for him either. And this is where, again, it's done. The Reylo thing is over with. It's done. The conversation over with. She had some compassion for him. But it's gone now. She sees him for what he was, which is just shows how stupid the character has always been, and the fact that she didn't see this beforehand, that, you know, everyone she had been around he had tried to kill. Luke had tried to tell her, you know, Finn was almost killed. Han was killed. But, you know, hey, let's trust this guy because I've seen him shirtless and we Skyped a few times. This is great. This is brilliant for, you know, all these, you know, little girls growing up. And this is who's posting on Tumblr about it. Someone sent me a video of like a 12-year-old girl talking about Reylo. I couldn't watch it because I'd end up wanting to make fun of it, and I can't do that to someone like that. It's just unfortunate, and I don't care how many like articles you can bring up or connecting it to Beauty and the Beast or Snow White or connecting these small little, you know, possible instrument strings that are played here, and oh, if you play it in reverse, this is actually the song that's going on while Beauty and the Beast is playing when the Beast kisses Belle and then he turns back into a prince, and all this crap. I don't care. It's over. It's over with. It's over with. It's done. Can we move on? Can we please get past this now? Can we just get past it? It's not. It's done. It's not a thing. It was an interesting theory that some people brought up that Rian Johnson ran with like crazy, but it's over with. So it's done. The novel shuts it off clearly. There's nowhere else to go with this story. Kylo wants to kill her. Up until this point, Kylo has never wanted to kill her. He's always held back. It's been his weakness. Maybe this is an attempt to finally try to make Kylo, you know, dangerous. Rey does mention to Leia that Kylo is more powerful than he's ever been. His power's growing quickly. And maybe this is because he's finally pulled off the, you know, the conversation's always been he's been held back because of those he cares for. Well, maybe now it seems clear that he doesn't care for Rey anymore. That has moved past. He's willing to kill her. He's willing to destroy her because she turned him down. And we all know how Kylo deals with people that reject him. So guess what? It's over with. He wants to kill her now. And she doesn't have compassion for him. So she doesn't want to try to save him. She doesn't care. She's not going to hold back. In The Force Awakens, she didn't quite step up in there to finish it off. And then in The Last Jedi, she stood over him after the supremacy, you know, after they kind of had the explosion of the lightsaber. She got up first and she stood over him and looked and decided not to kill him. She doesn't have compassion for him anymore. And he's willing to kill her. It's over with, guys. It's done. And I'll just touch on one little part of chapter 34 as to complete, kind of continue to go over the novel. Is nothing of real interest here, but you know, it's just repeating some issues with the book. The book is repeating what was done in the movie. First, Finn wants to go out and help fight, and at least the book kind of mentions, like, you know, how Poe's like, really, you want to do this? Like, aren't you the one that's always running away? But Finn wants to go out to help because Kylo's fighting Luke. And how are you going to help? What are you going to do? Y'all just went out there and everyone got destroyed. Let Luke have it. But it's only there so that Poe can pretend to have a character arc. And so that Poe has his character arc and decides that they need to be able to leave. But then the other part that just kind of bothers me in all of this is that C-3PO comes up and says, oh, it's possible that there's another opening somewhere. Well, why didn't you mention this like a long time ago? How long have they been in there? They went and drove, you know, flew out there on the speeders, fought the battle, barely got back. Now the door's been destroyed, and now, oh, there might be some possible ways, but it's very unlikely that this is the case. They didn't say like, hey, let's send a lot of people, search all of these things out, or let's run every single, you know, diagnostic test or whatever to find out if there's a way out the back. Why didn't you do this? Because we need to follow the foxes. I guess like karmically, because they saved the space horses. I know they're called 5 years, but I'm calling them space horses. The space dog horses, because they saved those, like karmically, the Force was like, oh, we'll lead you with the crystal foxes. And I know that's not their name either, but I'm not saying their actual name. And so maybe that's kind of the moral of the story. Hey, kids, you know, Open doors to let all the animals out. If you're driving down the road and you see an animal in a pen, take it out of the pen and let it run free. And then later on, if you're in trouble, a crystal fox will show you how to escape. That's the story of The Last Jedi, and that's chapter 34. And there we go. Can we just be done with the Reylo crap now and move on? I'm sure this will make me incredibly popular to say this, but it's just like, we had fun. I watched a few of the videos. They were interesting. I thought that the Reylo fans were just Star Wars fans that were just digging deep into everything. But the more I listened to them after The Last Jedi, when it was clearly over with, and now the novel's explaining it even further, that it's clearly over with, they're still making their videos, still trying to explain how this is a thing, still trying to explain, connect to all these outside things to say, like, see, we told you, no, it's still not dead, it's not dead, it's dead. It's dead. Reylo's over with. And now I'm sure this video will shut it down completely. No, but I look forward to hearing your thoughts and comments. Down below I'll have the rest of chapters 34. Basically a little bit of 34 and 35 to end up this novel, completely be done with it, and wash my hands of this novel tomorrow. So thank you all of you that have watched all the way through this. If you haven't and this is your first one, I do have a playlist set up for all of the novel, all of the chapters. I'm going through each chapter from the very beginning all the way to the end. If you haven't read the novel, or if you just want to hear a different perspective of someone that may or may not agree with you discussing their thoughts on the novel, it's right here. I also have a link to my TeePublic page down below. And as always, thank you very much for watching. And never forget, you Nerf Herders, I love you.